And now what I want to do is tell you what I think your greatest strength is. I don't just want to make you feel bad about yourself. There's a great opportunity here. There's a great opportunity here. Your greatest strength, this one strength, if it is empowered by God, if it is empowered by the Holy Spirit, it can overpower and get rid of all those temptations. It can help you it can make you the most strategic generation of Christians in recent history. Here's what I believe your greatest strength is. If you're taking notes, your greatest strength is that you very well may be the most cause-driven, mission-minded generation in recent history. You may be the most cause-driven people who have lived on this planet for generations. You really are. You are cause-driven. You are mission-minded. There's something in you that just says, I've got to make a difference. I've got to change things. We've got to do something. And you can just feel that in you. You've got a passion and a mission. And man, this is a great opportunity. This is an amazing opportunity that God has placed before you. This could change the world if you'll channel this passion well. Like most of you, there's a great chance that you don't want to just do a job for money when you get older. You want to do a job that changes the world. You want to do something that influences society. You want a cause to belong to, and you can feel it. I mean, you've never even been to Africa, but you hear about these kids over there who don't have clean drinking water and who are dying because they don't have clean drinking water. And you're like, I've got to do something. What can I do? Others of you, you're like, you heard sometime at one point somebody talk about human trafficking, and you're like, wait, that goes on in my city? Seattle is one of the most busy cities for sex slaves in the whole country. There are young girls being bought and sold every day in Seattle for sex. We've got to do something. We've got to change that. And you just you couldn't sleep for 3 days because it bothered you so much. You're so cost-driven. Man, you'll shave your head for $1 if your friend gets cancer. You'll shave your head just to raise awareness because you're like, there's a cause that I've got to belong to, and I've got to change something. I've got to do something. You are so cause-driven. You are so mission-minded. And the problem is that Satan, your spiritual enemy, is going to try to convince you to just put it off, that you're too young right now. Satan's going to try to convince you that real life starts later. Here's my verse for all of you, and I want you to memorize this over the next 3 weeks. I know that you guys are going to be in here all 3 weeks of this series. I want you to memorize this, and Mom and Dad, you memorize it too, and let this be your prayer over your kids. Paul talked to Timothy, and Timothy was a very, very young man who pastored a church, pastored one of the first churches in the New Testament. And Paul wrote to him in 1 Timothy 4:12, he said, Timothy, I know you're young. I know you're a young guy trying to lead a church and trying to make a difference for Jesus. He says, Timothy, don't let anyone look down on you because you are young. Don't let anyone talk you out, Timothy, of doing what God calls you to do today. Today you are called to make a difference. Today you are called to go for it for Jesus. But he says, what does he say? Don't let anyone look down on you because you are young, but set an example for all the believers in speech, in life, in love, in faith, and in purity. He says those who are older and those who are younger, set an example for them right now, even in your youth, Timothy. And I would just say that to all of you teens and 20-somethings who are in here. I want that to be you. I want that to be your generation. Don't buy the lies. Don't let anyone look down on you because you are young. Memorize this verse. Many of you, you're believing the lie that you're like in the batter's circle. You're up to bat next, and you've got to wait for everyone else to go first. You don't have to wait. You're not in the batter's circle. You're not on deck. You are up to bat now. You are. Some of you who are here this morning, and maybe you're a little older, you might be tempted to see these young people in here and say, oh, it's nice to have the students in here. It's nice. And it's so nice to see the church of tomorrow. Please never call them the church of tomorrow. They're the church of today. This is their church too. They are just as much a part of this church as any of us are. Guys, I want you to know, this is not just like your mom and dad's church. All right, this is not just like your grandparents' church. This is your church. You belong here. Don't let anyone talk you out of it because you're 13 or you're 18 or you're 25 or you're 32 and you still feel like a kid living in a grown-up world. Don't let anyone talk you out of that.